welcome to Season 1, Episode 2 of Life of a Travel Writer. This week we have Janice MacLeod, author of Paris Letters. Let's dive in.
I'm Janice MacLeod, and I'm best known for this book, Paris Letters, which is a memoir on how I became an artist in Paris, but it's also part of the travel writing memoir group. So if you look for me in a bookstore, you're going to find me in the travel section as opposed to the memoir section because it's travel. I started the story in Los Angeles and then moved to Paris, went on to Rome and a bit of Italy, also did some of the UK. So I'm moving around Europe, telling the story about how I ultimately landed in Paris and created these letters called Paris Letters, which are on the inside cover. This one is an illustrated letter. And on the back, maybe there is. Yeah, okay. And on the back, there is. You can't really see so much in the video, but anyway, I'm best known for this book, and I'm so happy and delighted and honored to say it's a New York Times bestseller, which just astounds me and delights me. So that's Paris Letters. And then from there, if this was about how I became an artist in Paris, this book, A Paris Year, that follows it, is me being that artist in Paris because it's an illustrated book of my time in Paris. It has all these illustrations and photos and stories. So what I did with this one is I took, if something was a better photograph than a painting, then I put the photograph in. If it was a better painting, I put the painting in. If it was neither, if it was just a better story, I put that in. And so I grabbed all the best bits of my time in Paris, visually and literarily, and kind of put them all in a year. So it starts in January and it goes to December, and it is a year in Paris, even though it did take me a lot longer to collect all the material. But anyway, it's lovely. And I love this book. And it's my middle child. And I also am a middle child. And then eventually these letters that I was selling on Etsy, which I still sell on Etsy, it just kept going and going and going. And I was so amazed. So I reached out to a publisher to get them all put in a book, partly because an anthology, because I saw my mother's binder of all the letters. And I thought, it's a bit thick and it's a bit unwieldy. And I thought I could do better. I thought it'd be better to have this book on her coffee table instead of the binder.
The binder, yeah.
The binder of letters that I sent her month after a decade of writing these letters. So, Dear Paris is an anthology of all of the letters. And so that's the sum up of the book thing. And there you go. My triad,
Your triad, yes, which is very, very nice.
Yeah.
Then, because in Paris Letters, we start out, you are a copywriter in Los Angeles. You think you have your dream job, and then you realize this is not it. So you started doing the artist way and doing your daily 3 pages, and you begin your blog. And when you began the blog in the book, it doesn't really seem that your intent was to write the book, but you wanted something and you wanted something creative. And then, so when was it, while you were doing the blog or when you moved to Paris? When was it at the point, or did someone approach you because you were running the blog about publishing a book?
This is a very good question. I don't know if anyone has ever asked for that moment. That moment. The blog, I started that, the blog, I was blogging every day at first, and that was just about corporate life, and it was just that. And also Julie and Julia had come out. So, and I watched it. I thought, oh, I could start a blog. Why not start a blog and just see how that is? And that's when blogs were really starting to take off. And I really liked the medium because I was able to kind of steal time from work. I'd be at my desk looking busy sometimes, but there's downtimes. And I was like, oh, I can be creative in this downtime. And then that blog, after a year of that, then I moved to Paris
Mhm.
and kept blogging. And people really responded to the Paris kind of report from Paris, what's going on the street of Paris. And my blog started taking off. Like there must have been some sort of algorithm that I was not aware of.
Mhm.
I don't even know if we knew about the word algorithm back then.
Mhm.
We talked about SEO back then, but not really the algorithm. But the blog started getting bigger and people um, really resonated with the Paris stuff. And also at the same time, I thought I gotta start putting deposits in my bank account. I can't just withdraw, withdraw, withdraw. So I started these Paris letters and they really took off, especially after I approached Etsy and I said, I got these letters on Etsy and I've got this really great story about how I left corporate life. And they were like, yeah, let's feature you on the Quit Your Day Job blog that they had,
Mhm.
which was very popular then too. And after that kind of snowballed into like way more letter subscriptions, I thought, oh, this is a story. This is a bigger story because that was the kind of that moment with Etsy where they featured me and so many people loved it and so many people subscribed to the letters that I thought there is a need out there. There is a want to know this story. Sideline, while this was happening, I was also falling in love with the lovely
Mhm.
Christoph, who I met in Paris. And so that was a juicy little um, kind of draw as well, because this is like a romance in Paris.
Mhm.
And also I had all my friends like reading my blog and like seeing what was the play by play. But it was really once Etsy, a corporation kind of said, yes, we want to hear more about that. And then they showed it to their audience, which then came to me. I thought, okay, I'm going to make, and also I had a lot of corporate speak in my blog because I had a year of corporate stuff in my blog. So I wanted to kind of organize all the stuff and just have like Paris stuff.
Mhm.
So Paris Letters was started as a lot of index cards that I kept reshuffling and reshuffling and then just adding to and reshuffling until I had chapters and a chapter idea and then just kept filling it in and filling it in and I opened a document called I think it was actually Paris Letters Manuscript, but the title wasn't quite there yet, but it ended up being Paris Letters as the title. But when you open a new document and call it blah 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 manuscript, then it's a real thing. It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you started the manuscript on your own, and then after realizing that you had an idea and that a concept that you could create, how far into writing the manuscript before you started reaching out to literary agents?
Oh yes, this is a question I get asked a lot.
Yep.
Uh, the other question, no, but this one, yes. And this is and the reason for this is that people who want to write a book don't want to write a book until they have a deal.
Hmm.
And it annoys me because an agent isn't going to pick you up if you don't have something to show them, or an audience either. And it's so it's like nobody wants to put in the work if it's not a sure thing. So the answer is every time I have had a deal by the time I sign the contract with an agent, that book is done.
Mm.
So I wrote, I'd say 3/4 of the book before I even reached out to an agent.
Okay.
But while I was writing this book, I was also reading all these travel memoirs. And inside, I always read the acknowledgement page. And this one name kept coming up. Her name is Laura York.
Hmm.
And I thought, oh, this agent, she represents people like this book is going to be. This book is like what she represents. So I want a winning agent that's going to give people publishers this kind of book. So I reached out to Laura and I said, would you represent me? I gave her like this, here, read some chapters. and she read the chapters and picked me up right away. And and also I had most of the book written, so I knew where it was going. There's no throwing it out at this point. I was already living inside of this book before I even reached out to her. And the process of having a publisher, the contract always takes a long time. It takes like 6 months sometimes to like go back and forth between the agent and the publisher, and me and the agent and the publisher. So I was writing all that time. By the time that contract was signed, my book was done and I could hand it off to them.
And now, while you were writing, were you part of like a writing group, like, or did you hire your own editor to work on it, or was it all you before the publishers even looked at it?
I am a one-man band. Uh, no, I've been in writers group previously in LA. I was in a little travel writers group. Um, because my friends were in it. That's
Mhm.
all. My friends were in it, and they invited me to a travel writing conference in San Francisco, and I went to that, and I thought that was really interesting. And uh, I did have an affinity for travel
Mhm.
writing. Okay.
Okay.
But then when I moved from LA to Paris, there was no. And I didn't hire an editor or anything because I had a background as a copywriter. I'm a
Mhm.
writer by trade. So so I know how to throw a sentence together. I know what's boring and can take it out. And in advertising, you just throw out all kinds of ideas
Mhm.
and you really hone in at that editing. Like, I don't want the client to look at something that embarrasses me.
Mhm.
That's kind of a crappy idea. So self-editing is already ingrained for me. I think that also a lot of people want to hire an editor because they think the editor is going to make it better, but the editor will edit
Mhm.
what you've written. They will not make it, they will not make it, they won't write it for you. And I think a lot of people think, oh yeah, I'll just give them my little pile of post-it notes and they'll whip it up because no, you got to do the work. You got to do the work. But I love the work. It's the work I'd prefer to do. So I had Yeah, and also Laura is an agent. She went through it and she, you know, took out, she edited it a little bit and
Mhm.
there you go.
Yeah.
I already got one.
So then what would you suggest? So like, because I'm someone who's in the phase of I'm working on my book proposal with my literary agent, and I've sent a couple of sample chapters, and he looks at it and goes, "No, that's not it." And so I write another one, and for me, I'm an academic. I've always been a writer, but I've never transferred over from academic to professional, so I don't have I think for a lot of the listeners there's going to be that learning gap from academic to professional or from a literary writer. What would you suggest for those of us who are just starting out and who are willing to do the work and keep doing chapter by chapter, but you feel like you're pigeonholed a little bit because you want to make it better but you're not sure how to make it better?
One very easy thing is to read it out loud to yourself.
Hmm.
And when you're reading it out loud to yourself, there's parts that you notice that you don't want to say.
Hmm.
There's a there is an internal compass at work here. And also like, the genius of creativity at work here. And you want to tap into both of those things. And when you're reading it out loud, like when you start getting bored with what you're reading out loud, or you want to just quickly get through that part, you get rid of it. You get rid of it. And also, so that's one thing. Also, you look at your audience and go, yeah, and nobody knows who their audience is. Nobody knows. So all those people that say, think about your target market,
Hmm.
it's like nobody knows. But all I know for my audience is who will read this, who has a bigger vote than other people in my world. They'll read it and what reaction do I want them to have? So when my mom is reading it, for example, I am going to tone down the sex scenes
Hmm.
because I got Christmas dinners to sit through.
Yeah.
And but also I know myself like a little steamy, but not too steamy because I'm a cleaner I'm a cleaner voice than all that. That's not my jive. That's not my thing. Uh, and then also ex-boyfriends.
Mm.
They have a role to play in this too. Some ex-boyfriends who are travel writers and copywriters, these are people that I've admired them over time. And I think when they read this, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to impress them with this. This is going to be good. And there's a little bit of juice in there, a little, and I don't know if it's revenge or if it's admiration, like, but there's some juice. And I'm like, when he reads this, he will be impressed. Um, that's interesting to me. That made me want to be a better writer. And other people, I thought, well, when people who are jealous of me, because it is, if I have attracted anything, it's people who are jealous. I
Mhm.
moved to Paris to become an artist, like
Yeah.
the dream. And then I got a big old best-selling book, and then another one. When those people read it, I want them to be that journey that they read about, they have more understanding and
Mhm.
compassion because they see the work that I put into it. So people that are jealous, you can't just say, "Oh, I wish I had that," or "Must be nice to go to Paris." Yeah, it is nice, but holy moly, it's a lot of work.
Mhm.
And read this book to see what I did. And then you're not going to be jealous because you'll be like, wow, she brought it and
Mhm.
and and did the work. So all of this is this circle as I'm writing to hone and perfect and edit and you know just fiddle with it for a while until it's as perfect as you can make it.
And from for timeline references, how long do you think it took you to get about three-quarters of the way when you decided, okay, now I can start looking for someone that I like as a literary agent?
Well, I did have let me think here. I'd say about three-quarters of a year. Three
Hmm.
quarters of
Okay.
a year. And the book took about a year to write.
Hmm.
A year, and it's a year, not full 8-hour days of writing,
Hmm.
not at all, but about a year of constantly visiting the manuscript, daily visits with the manuscript, where I'm like, no, 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 that typo. No, I don't like that word. Oh, I hate how that sentence ends. Oh, I want to just smooth out that thing. And I just made sure I opened my manuscript every day and added to it and took away and fiddled with it and also went for big walks around Paris because I needed material.
Hmm.
And life happened and then I had material. Oh, I'll write this down and write this and you get ideas as you're walking around, even when you're not walking around Paris, when you're
Hmm.
just walking in your
Walking in
life.
general, yes.
Walking in general. You're all over Europe and you've seen, I'm sure ideas have come to you um, while you're
Hmm.
walking around.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, walking is really great. But so were there moments that you had doubts that this was gonna work out and that this was because you're the type of person that seems like once you're in it, you're in it. Like I'm doing this whether it gets published or not, I'm finishing this manuscript. But were there like moments of doubt where you're like, "Oh, I'm never gonna get this done," or I guess not, because your background is different. Being a copywriter really gives you a little bit more space to work with.
It does give you a backbone for sure.
Hmm.
Uh, but also because I'm a copywriter by trade,
Hmm.
and we would do an ad and then look at the results, and then we do another ad and we look at the results and we compare the results to the previous, and then we'd kind of work on that and try to improve the ad all the time. And it was kind of science based.
Hmm.
And it's like, if this isn't working, it's because people aren't buying it.
Hmm.
So if it's not something people are buying, then maybe I shouldn't be selling it. So if I knew that if nobody wanted this manuscript, no problem. I know it's a year of working on it, but if it is not a marketable idea, then a publisher will not buy it.
Hmm.
It has to be a marketable idea. It helps if you have an audience already built in. Now, keep in mind, this was before um, self-publishing became
Mm-hmm.
so big. And I might have self-published it at some point, but back then, self-publishing was like zygote,
Mm-hmm.
not nearly as easy as it is these days. So I would have probably let it go. I would have just said, well, that was an interesting exercise. It made me a better writer. Maybe there's something more marketable out there that a publisher will want from me. And I would start on that and I would just keep rolling with it. I know a lot of people that take that rejection of the book and then just accept that they are a rejected author
Mm-hmm.
and make that part of their personality. But not me. I'm like, no, I'm going to crack the code. Cracking the code. You don't like this one? I'm going to come up with something that you do like.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I do have another example of that. If you don't mind me going on, I sent one of my dream publishers a series of note cards, and I said, I got these wonderful note cards. I was selling them on Etsy. I was making them myself, but when you make it yourself, it's never quite as good a quality.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a long time to make them, and I was never that pleased with them. But one of my dream publishers, which I will tell you is Chronicle Books, they always have these great note card sets in these beautiful
Mm-hmm.
boxes. And I was like, oh man, alive. So they looked at all of my art and they said, no. But there's one note card here. It was a note card that had some French cheeses on it. We like the idea of food. We like
Mm-hmm.
the idea of the food. Can you make us a note card set of food? And this came in the mail just the other day.
Oh, very nice. Oh,
Free
that's
and
beautiful.
Bacon. It's
Yes.
a box, hard box. So
Oh, that's cute.
exciting. Has all of these lovely note cards in it with French foods on them, including the original one cheese
Oh, that they
one
liked, yeah.
in here somewhere, but which I know, and a macaron one,
Oh,
like
very, oh, I like
so
that.
fun. So I took their kind of rejection of 95% of my art as like, fine,
Mm-hmm.
don't, don't, no worries. Okay. You want the cheese? There must be something they know that I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Food must sell. They must have stats over there that I'm not privy to. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I will make a whole new series of note cards based on your yes. Just move ahead.
Very nice. And why are they one of your dream publishers?
They have amazing distribution. I mean,
Ah, got you. Okay.
you will notice as a big traveler, when
Mm-hmm.
you walk into
That's
these
true, yeah.
bookstores and museum gift shops and
Mm-hmm.
stationery shops,
Yeah.
all the wonderful stuff is from Chronicle. They
Okay.
just have so many good places that they end up in, and they make beautiful products too.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I mean this and it takes a while, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
only coming out in 2026, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
But I love them because of their creativity, their vision, their kindness to authors, and the distribution is like unmatched.
Oh, very nice. And
And
then so, oh, go ahead.
I know this from all of my time cruising around stationery shops and gift
Mm-hmm.
and museum gift shops and bookstores.
Yeah, spent a lot of time and a lot of money in that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, me
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so for your publisher, did your literary agent know exactly who she wanted to go to, or was there a list that you went one by one?
Oh, well, I always give her a list of publishers that I like.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't necessarily have chosen Chronicle Books for a book project
Mm-hmm.
because I like them for the stationary
Dictionary,
aspect of
yes.
their business, even though they do
Mhm.
have books. But and Paris Letters um was like a memoir, an empowerment memoir.
Mhm.
So I knew Source Books did that and they ended up publishing it in the end. So I did my own research and I give her a list of dream publishers. She has her own list of dream publishers and also her relationships.
Mhm.
So she'll fire off a message to somebody saying, I've got this travel book and I know you have a travel
Section.
zone that you want to fill. And, she has an audience and she has a bestseller, blah, 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 blah. So between the two of us, we figure it out. And then, I mean, as far as me saying yes and no to one or the other, no, no, I don't say no.
Yeah.
No, I will say yes. I will say yes. I will say yes. And if it's not my dream publisher this time, maybe next time.
Maybe
And
next
also,
time.
all of my dream publishers are on, they're all the big ones. They're
Hmm.
all the biggies.
Yeah.
So, and I've got some of the biggies on my, tick them off my list. Awesome. And there's some small ones too that are so good. So, just project by project, publisher by publisher.
Okay, and then for the first book, then how when she put it out for submission, how long until you had someone was said they were interested in purchasing it?
Oh, yeah, because the no's come right away.
Yes.
No is very fast.
Hmm.
The yeses take some time. But the yeses, I'd say a month, about a month,
Okay.
about a month, because not for everyone, not for everyone.
Yeah.
But because she's so speedy, and that's what I love about her too. Like, she is so speedy, and she'll just be like, give it a yes, give it a no, give it a pass, no biggie. I just need the answer. What I need from you is the answer. And they actually respect her for that. So they
Hmm.
give an answer quite quickly. And it's awesome. Because I don't want to waste my time either. If this project is not a marketable project, I am moving on.
Hmm.
Do something else.
Yeah, on to
Nothing
the
is
next thing.
wasted. Yeah,
Yeah.
no time is wasted. People are all wanting to count all their money from their books that aren't even written yet.
Hmm.
No, just
Next
forge
one.
ahead.
Yep.
Yeah, next one.
So then, how long was the process after they said yes? When did you start working with their editor, and did their editor want to change a lot of what you had already written?
It was about 6 months. So they sign the
Okay.
contract and they say, we want this. They give me a date, and I'm like, list, and I just tell them, like, it says this in this contract, it says that the manuscript is due 6 months from now, but I'm going to tell you that it's ready and it's done because you guys take forever, and I'm just
Hmm.
busy writing while I'm waiting on you.
Hmm.
So they adjust they adjust the contract, say, okay, fine, just give it to us. Um, the first pass is the big editor, which is she's looking at the big, like, sections to move around that don't
Hmm.
make sense. And that was really helpful to me. And very little was deleted. She did say a few things like, if you say it like this, you kind of, come off as a kind of prat. And I'm like, yeah, I could come off as, like, she's the first extra voice beyond my agent who has an opinion, grows an opinion of me and this book.
Hmm.
And she wants that opinion to be positive. So she will tell me what she doesn't like about the book and about how I will be perceived in the world, because she wants to like me, because she wants the audience to like me,
Hmm.
because more of the audience liking me makes them tell people about the book, and then they buy the book and la 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 la. So that's the first round, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't of course, my backbone in advertising, where, like, they throw out stuff all the time.
Hmm.
Nope. I thought, oh my gosh, you guys are barely reading it. And
Yeah.
then so I did all of that. I did all those big, big moves. And then she looked through it. Yes, yes, yes. Then she gives it to, like, an editor proofreader that goes through line by line. And that was good too. And that was good too. And I didn't have to agree with everything. Like,
Hmm.
my sentence structure includes a lot of sentence fragments. That's how I
Hmm.
roll. And and that's part of my voice. That's the clip at which I speak and write. So I made sure I still had a lot of those sentence fragments, even though
Hmm.
they're, incorrect according
Yeah,
to an
grammar.
editor,
Yeah.
you know. So it
Hmm.
was all very, I was just excited to be part of the process, It's
Yeah.
great.
Very nice. Okay. I also wanted to know, oh, I forgot what I was going to ask. So then so a lot of it you didn't have to rewrite a lot of things, which but in terms of publishing, it doesn't really speed up the process from once you sign the contract to when they actually put the book out, though, right? Besides, I mean, I guess you've saved them 6 months, but not really. It still took another year to edit everything and then have the book come out.
I did think I shaved off about 6 months just by
Okay.
having the manuscript done by the time the contract was done. And they adjust for that. I mean, they have their catalog that they're putting I'm sure they slot me in about 6 months before I needed to be slotted in. But it
Okay.
was done and it was ready and we were rolling with it and you know, all good. All good.
Oh, very nice. That's so exciting. And I really want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me. And if you have any advice for future travel memoirs, and if you have one memoir recommendation that our listeners should read, what would it be?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Sorry, I stumped you on that one.
You know what? I will tell you, it's not a memoir.
Okay, we'll take
It's
it.
not a
I
memoir,
read everything, so
but
it's
it is
good.
a newer book, and it is by a guy named David Nichols who wrote One
Mhm.
Day.
Oh,
Uh,
one day, yes. Oh, yes.
One Day, and that came out as a Netflix series
Hmm.
recently. Uh, and won all of his books,
Yeah.
all of he's so funny. He's so funny, and he's so good at turning a phrase. And I feel like when he writes the book, I feel like he's saying it out loud too.
Hmm.
Like it is how he speaks. So You Are Here is the more recent book, and
Okay.
it's travel. It's about this really long walk on this route across the UK, and it's beautiful. You really appreciate beautiful writing, beautiful story, beautiful characters. You're entertained, you feel things. Um, it's a really easy good time. And so I would say You Are Here by David Nichols. And one piece of advice for travel writers, don't involve so many people. Just
Hmm.
write and write it really well and write it. Just stop with the audience already. Just stop with the audience. Just write. Get in your manuscript every day and fiddle with it. Don't talk about it with people so much because uh it's all they don't hear it. They don't hear it and you're wasting your energy. It's like a balloon that has a little hole in it. You just
Yeah.
deflate the whole thing. When the book comes out, there's plenty of time to talk about it. But before then, just all keep it to yourself, this beautiful little prize that you've created for yourself, this lovely little hobby. And don't think about if it's getting published or not. Think about making the best book and also making all your dreams come true. I wanted this book to be like 227 pages
Oh,
because I
wow.
liked that number.
Hmm.
Like things like that. I want this book to be from that publisher, so I'm going to look at their library of work. I just gave you a whole bunch of ideas, but
Yeah.
and also for the agent, go to that part of the bookstore where you want your book to be. Look at their acknowledgement section. They always acknowledge their agent.
Hmm.
That's where you want to be. If you want to self-publish it, that's awesome too. Tech is so good now. I actually have many books that are self-published under my name and under other names too that aren't really the Janice Paris thing.
Yeah.
Um, and I just keep rolling with writing the best, making the best product that I can. It's a product.
Hmm.
It's a product. We're entertainers. There you go.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you. Courtney from 2026 is losing it, or from 2016 is losing her mind right now. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Well, I'm glad to talk to you and good luck on your travel memoir.
Thank you very much. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in for another week of Life of a Travel Writer. I'm your host, Courtney Cardini. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.